30 minutes. So if you'd like to submit some of them. But first, I have something to say before we begin this episode of Plat Valorant. This world is hard on silly men. Men filled with joyous whimsy. Nothing in this world is harder than being a goofy and fun-loving guy. And I've been away the last few weeks, and I've been a fun-loving guy. I've been pretty goofy, and that's where I've been away.
This isn't going anywhere.
The world has been hard on you?
Huh?
The world has been hard on you?
No, I've been hard on the world.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, that's you're doing it. You're doing it to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, the world's been so tough. I've been on a constant vacation in Korea.
I've been on a non-stop vacation for many weeks.
For like a month and a half, dude. I've missed you. Please, don't leave ever again.
I do this every year, though. It's like where I get my enrichment from my life, because otherwise I just stream for 14 hours a day and I don't get any new stimuli. And so my casting stagnates to that of like the level of like a third grader.
I mean, look at this. This is Bren's Twitch recap. 341 broadcasts.
That's
this year.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, you're giving XQC a run for his money on broadcasts. What's he at?
I don't know.
I mean, if you've beaten him, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't understand. You traveled for like 50 days this year. More than that. How do you have close to a year?
I streamed a lot when I was there.
Yeah, I mean, obviously.
I streamed when I was there, and then I bought a streaming backpack, and I streamed while I was in Korea and Japan.
God, I mean, it's absurd. I mean, that is just ridiculous. Anyway,
I need help.
Welcome to episode 116. The bulldozer is outside, about to take down the Plat compound. So better wrap this one
episode.
up. It's not the final episode. Hopefully, we'll still be fine. We'll be fine. There's no problems. We've got the crew together. Let's talk some Valorant, shall we? Esports Awards happened. Everyone loves Esports Awards and awards to do with esports and stuff like that.
Nice of you guys to come back to the podcast in time from, being at the Esports Awards yesterday, right?
Yeah, we were out there, gambling away all of the money that you guys give us in memberships.
Yep.
All that money that Ushy Gushy, my bussy, gave with a member.
Don't read the name.
That's the name of a user.
Yeah,
I can't believe that.
Don't read it out.
That's one of our loyal
Stop
members.
Reading it out. Okay, so Valorant won the Esports Game of the Year. I swear it already won the Esports Game of the Year last year or something.
2 years.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
Oh, is it 2 in a row?
2 years in a row, yeah.
Yeah, which is surprising because we weren't involved in it last year.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, we were tangentially. We were propping it up from the Plat compound.
Wait, I know those people. I know a lot of those people.
I see people.
Where's Johnny?
There he is. There's Reinforce behind us. Gambling away all of our money.
Yeah.
Yeah. Valorant, Esports Game of the Year, huh?
Yeah, that's cool. Brennan's become an absolute EO maniac. I saw what he posted on the timeline yesterday. This guy's crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely out of pocket.
I got sucked into the if you ever go to the Esports Awards, it is a conference and whirlwind and just insane narcissism and egotistical natures. Yeah. And it all converges into the Esports Awards every year. And so if you go there, you can be a fly on the wall, and it's so fucking fun to just watch people. Just to people watch. I'm talking about my literal colleagues and peers here, by the way, as well. Like, I'm literally talking about the people I'm working alongside.
Hey guys, look over there. Look at all these narcissists. Meanwhile, you saw the tweet that Kurt pulled up. Bren just quote tweets Valorant winning and says, "Yeah, no shit, I'm casting it." This guy's crazy.
Because I thought it would be funny. I thought it would be funny.
This guy's nuts.
And it's also fucking true.
He's been drinking and chilling for a month and just talking shit.
Some other crazy behavior. Some other winners. Loud won the Team of the Year, right? Which is pretty sick.
They did the Game Awards as well.
What's right?
You know the Game Awards?
Yes.
The bigger award show.
Yes.
Around gaming.
That's like
the one where people wear T-shirts and people get criticized for wearing T-shirts.
What?
Yeah, that was a big thing on Twitter.
Was it?
Saw that.
Fucking terminally online. Get a life.
Okay, yeah. Talk to me though about the Game Awards. What?
I mean,
what
it
Loud
happened.
one
There was
there?
some bloke fucking crashed the Elden Ring game announcement. I know we're not. This isn't related to Valorant.
Yeah,
It is old news. We don't
Yeah,
need to talk
this
about
is
that.
old
But
news.
also Valorant and Loud won that shit as well. Like,
Yeah.
look, Ye won
Yay as
Player
well.
of the
Yeah,
Year. Bazooka won Coach of the Year.
Yeah, big wins.
Yeah.
We only collect dubs here in the Valorant world. Mm-hmm. It's a nice change, isn't it?
Yeah, Valorant sweeping. I know, right? It's a nice change. Got beaten down for fucking years. Years in Overwatch, years.
Yep, not seeing TF2 up there. And the team of the year. It's not Froyo.
There's a good little chuckle for any TF2 fans that are still watching.
5 of you.
Yeah. That joke was for you.
There's a dozen.
Why are you showing this? Bro, why are you doing this, man?
For the audio listeners, Bren, do you want to explain what? For the audio listeners, shout out to the audio listeners. I know you're out there. Kurt decided to play the footage of Harry Kane's missed penalty,
Yeah.
and Bren is upset.
I'm fucking livid. I'm fucking livid.
No.
Why are you showing 0.25, man? It's unbelievable. Dude, I can't say. Listen, maybe. Oh, I hate the French in Minecraft. I have to add Minecraft at the end, otherwise we're going to get demonetized.
I mean, yeah. Listen,
they're playing in a bit.
they're gonna play. They're gonna win. All
No,
good.
they're not.
Don't care about it.
No,
I've removed it from my
Argentina.
brain.
The only good storyline I'll accept at this point is Argentina winning.
Okay, the
Because
world
of
doesn't
Messi. You're
You're not going
revolve
to
around your
accept
storyline.
Morocco winning?
Yeah, Morocco
well,
would be way
Morocco's cool. Morocco will be cool, but Messi.
Anyway,
Messi?
shut up. We're talking about
Messi,
Valorant.
Messi.
Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your mouth. All right, Valorant dropped some lore. We're going to talk Valorant lore
I thought you
now.
wanted to talk about LeBron's performance in overtime last night.
No.
But
Oh my god.
Such a good meme.
Killjoy,
Oh my God.
Killjoy and Raze. Oh my god, let's not. Let's just make this a generic sports podcast.
Sports.
Killjoy and Raze, they dropped some lore. The Killjoy found a hat and found a lover as well.
That's cute.
Yeah.
That's real
Josh,
nice.
you're the only one here that probably doesn't know it. Hasn't looked at any of this, have you?
I have looked at
you
it
saw
Kurt,
it?
Me
because
before
Kurt
the
showed me it
show.
right
Oh.
before this.
Kurt discovered the secret narrative that no one else was talking about with these images.
Okay.
No one.
Well, let's bring people up to date. Last week we were looking at this image and we were like, why is everyone so annoyed? I think they were just
look hungover.
Yeah, basically. I think they were out on the lash.
Yeah, listen, I've been there many times the past 30 days.
Yeah, matter of fact, you were sitting just like Phoenix when I saw you yesterday. you really were.
Yeah. And we said at the time, oh, where's Killjoy's hat? And turns out, yeah, that they built like a whole comic series about it, basically. What do you mean that Kurt found a hidden narrative?
Well,
It's the one I explained to you, Josh, that no one else knows.
Yeah, I think Josh is presenting it like
Everybody
everyone knows
it this way.
People don't know about the hat storyline.
Oh.
They didn't put the pieces together.
I was wondering.
I
Dude, I was like,
see.
what are you
People
talking
don't know about the hat
He's the
storyline.
big dot connector.
Yeah.
Kurt's
He's
I
the
connect the
link.
dots.
Put it
So-
together, he's the glue.
So first
Tell him,
panel,
Kurt.
she doesn't have a hat. Second panel, they're going shopping. I mean,
Yeah.
clearly looking for a hat. Isn't she wearing a hat there?
Yeah, it's a shitty hat. She's
Oh,
pissed.
yeah, that's
normal
yeah.
hat.
It's
No.
not a cool Killjoy.
No,
hat.
finds like a shit hat. They go
Yeah.
to a bar and Killjoy's really pissed off because she doesn't have a hat.
This is a bar?
It's not a bar, it's like a garage.
No, it's a barcade.
Looks like
they're
a
they're
rum.
playing
It
on an
looks
arcade
like
machine,
no.
aren't they?
This is Raze's workshop
They're like
for
building
sure.
shit. She's like tinkering
Oh.
with
Yeah,
Raze's
it's
boom
Raze's.
balls.
Okay,
And
so
look
Raze-
over here.
Yeah, look, Razer
Look.
has a package.
What
Enhance.
the fuck?
Aw,
Getting a delivery? UPS?
And then
party time.
wait a
Yeah, so
minute.
take a look at this image. You've got Neon chilling with Phoenix while they both look really bored. And then over in
fucking
this
God.
corner,
Also,
Raze is
Yoru's
giving
getting
a
laid tonight.
gift to Killjoy.
The same package.
And what the? She got a new hat.
New hat, just it's on a lap.
Yep.
I'm surprised so many people were so excited about a new hat.
Yeah, it is really weird, actually. I mean, 600,000 likes for a hat storyline. I mean, is this actually TF2?
This is also what I do when people give me gifts. When you give me a Christmas gift, Josh, I'm just gonna just plant a big smooch on it.
Okay. Well,
In all seriousness, this is fucking sweet.
Yeah, it is sweet. It
Yeah.
is. It's fucking awesome, honestly, seeing this. And yeah, they're paving the way with the law, with the directly including with the LGBTQ community, you know?
yeah.
And
Yes.
I can't remember if Overwatch ever really did anything as upfront as this. I think they had like voice lines in game.
No, they had released a comic where Tracer
comic was
had a
released,
girlfriend, Emily, I think
Yeah.
it was.
But did they ever tweet it? Did they ever post it on their Instagram?
I mean, I think so. I
I
don't
can't
know.
remember.
I
Did they
don't
ever
know.
do it for the clout?
Yeah. It's still dope. Even if you hold the most like pessimistic kind of like view of the world, where you're like, oh, they're just doing it because it's good PR, blah blah blah. It's still a very very positive thing to include into the game. And
The thing that I always come back to when
so.
people make that argument of like they're just corporations, it's just a PR move. It's good that good PR aligns with positive ethical stuff.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantee that those are the same thing. But the fact that the general community wants that and therefore it is good PR is a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's pretty sick. Pretty good, huh?
Yeah.
What's your problem, mate?
You're turning into a fucking dad. You're metamorphosizing into the average Englishman. I don't know if you've realized this, but I have a pet theory. Kurt, can you pull up like English football fan on Google Images, and just I have a theory. English people, we turn the age of 40, and it's the constant diet of just pints at Wetherspoons and fucking God knows what else they're putting in the food in the UK just transforms us, and there's like a tipping point, a scale that gets reached at the age of 40 where you metamorphosize into just boom. Bold.
What did you want me to
Three
Google?
lions tattoo on your fucking arm, sunburnt. You're at the games. Oh, come on, Harry Kane, you fucking cunt. And there's a tipping point, and you are slowly getting there.
Yeah. What is the tipping point?
It's like a precursor. You got to unlock it. So first you got to get a kid. You got to have a child.
All right.
And then as soon as you get
I'll work on
as soon as Susie's at school and you can get the game on the TV, then and then it just barrels out of control.
Right. Okay. So
Be careful.
don't get a child.
No.
Don't have a
Don't
child.
ever go to Wetherspoons. That's the other precursor. If you avoid that, you'll be fine.
God.
Because this is what you'll turn into. I have seen so many Englishmen that look like this.
Yeah. Honestly, that is me currently, just without the tattoos. And that is just what my body looks like underneath this thin piece of fabric.
It'll happen to you. It'll happen to me.
I mean that's why does that say Welsh bollocks? I don't know. Yeah, there you go. I don't know what these tattoos are, to be honest.
Shirtless men. I'm so confused. On a Valorant podcast.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Another cool piece of news, actually, that I saw posted on Reddit this morning is that tickets are almost sold out for the lock-in event, for the Sao Paulo event. And that's kind of interesting for a couple of reasons. One, because in Copenhagen, the tickets barely sold, honestly.
They also didn't sell them as far in advance as this.
Yes. I mean, this is a much better system for tickets that hopefully they continue into the future. But also, there's like 11,000 person capacity in this arena. And it looks like normally they would block off
360,
half the stage, but it looks like
it's circular?
It's circular,
Let's
which
fucking go.
yeah, we haven't had that before in Valorant. They do it quite a bit in CS, and they've done it in League before, and they've done it in Overwatch and stuff like that. But we've never had a surround sound stage. But
Around.
yeah, can you imagine what the Valorant team will be able to do with that? They always
what
make the
I'm
stage
saying.
look sick.
Yeah, it'll be sick.
The stage team is always dope every single time, and now you've given them the creative control of the circular arena to do whatever the fuck they want with.
Players are going to lift out of the floor. I can tell you that right now. It's just, it's a guarantee. There's going to be players lifted out of the floor at some point.
Yeah, I'd like to see them come down from the ceiling. I want to see
Harnessed up.
I want to see Ye descend in a devil costume from the ceiling. or the rest of the team comes down and he comes up from the floor. I suppose that would be more thematically appropriate. But yeah, that's pretty
Turning
sick.
Valorant into a Broadway show.
Yeah, well, yeah, why not?
I don't think that fits the cool theme they're going for.
You don't think? Give
We
him a
got
little
Stas is a
trident.
god actor. We already have Boaster. Like, why not? Let's go. Musical.
Yeah, we could make a musical happen. I think Ye would be a fantastic actor. I think. No? Okay. No? All right. Fair enough. Maybe he should stick to his own actual talent, which is being sick at Valorant. There was another rumor this week.
Why is that tickled Kurt
I
so
don't
much?
know. Kurt's fucking died. Okay.
Yeah.
There's another rumor that Cloud9 White were getting split, their pieces scattered to the wind.
Before we get on this,
No.
fuck me.
What?
I wanted to talk a little, just real quick about the lock-in event
Fucking hell.
and my hopes for it, because with the, I don't know if you watch much of the CS,
What is that?
the Brazil event.
Oh. It's called the lock.
It's called
It's called
lock-in.
lock-in. Yeah.
Yeah. Because the people aren't allowed to leave, because otherwise the Brazilian fans will just all be outside.
Yeah. But this is related to the
damn it.
Brazilian fans. The point I wanted to make though is because for the CS event, I don't know if you watched much of it, but the crowd kind of just petered out when the Brazilian teams got out. It was like really bad in terms of that crowd, and so I really hope that doesn't end up happening for this, because the audience in Copenhagen felt like everybody was like just there they were just fans of Valorant. You know what I mean? Maybe not one team being a fan of one specific team, and I guess in Istanbul as well, people were just there to watch as fans as well. So I hope it doesn't end up being the same case where the audience just ends up, if the Brazilian teams don't make it far.
But also
or
the
whatever.
CS thing, because they had goals outside.
I have no idea.
Partially, yeah. Gulls was running. Like
I love to spread
center
misinformation
event outside.
on the internet.
Mm-hmm. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I don't know, but this
But
is my
you
concern.
can't really control it, Brent. Like for the most part, like in the CS major, a team made it to the semifinals, right? And then they lost. So like it's natural for the team or for the crowd who is paid every day to hope for a good storyline that they're going to get attached to get attached to a storyline, and then it fall out and they're not interested anymore. That's very natural. Whereas if like a team, all the Brazilian teams get knocked out in the beginning, maybe you see a completely different outcome. Like maybe as well, obviously, Gals not being outside could help, but it's something that's really difficult to control when you have no clue what games you're going to get. For lock-in, we have no idea what the format is. We don't know which teams are playing on what day. It's really hard to just be a fan of, a set amount of teams. So
They haven't announced the format yet.
No.
No?
Nope.
Oh.
They've just said 30 teams.
Huh.
That's a
They-
lot of teams.
Yeah. They're going to release a new game mode where
Many teams.
it's just a battle royale. They're going to put all the players in at the same time, and there's just one match that happens. Yeah, I mean, I think it's still going to be a really sick event. It's the first time at one of these big international events that we've had this many people there as well. I mean, the crowd for Istanbul was like 2,000, and it was even less. I think it was like 1,200 at Copenhagen.
Yeah.
It's just going to be a different level of crowd size
Excitement,
that people have only experienced, I think, so far if you went to the Japanese events that have been going on. And those are not Masters events. So I guess this isn't technically, but whatever. It's the top teams playing. Speaking of top teams, like I said before, there's a rumor that Cloud9 White are getting tackled to pieces and thrown to the winds. They've kind of disputed this a little bit as well, but it was a report from Purist who said that Cloud9 White are apparently going to get broken up and they're going to be free agents, and essentially the team is going to, disband to the point where it's not going to be recognizable in its current form. Before we get on to, what the Cloud9 players have said in regards to whether or not this is exactly how it's going to play out, I feel like this would be a big loss for the Game Changer scene because so many people have attached themselves to the C9 storyline, and I'd like to see them compete again against the other teams next time the international LAN rolls around and see if they have a shot of being able to redeem the expectations they had going into this event.
Yeah, the storyline doesn't feel complete, but also, couldn't it just be a case, or isn't it possible that it could just be a case where their contracts are up and they're in a renegotiation period?
Yeah, definitely.
And they're just open to other options because, they have the pull, and other teams would certainly want the players, but then could end up being that they stick together.
Yeah, they've
This
actually
is possible, right?
They have said that Jazzy's doing military service. So, Alexis
Was
had
that
a
real or troll?
I mean, there's got to be a troll, right?
I think that was-
I think this is real.
Alexis said Jazzy will be joining the military. So on behalf of the rest of the Cloud9 roster, they're now looking for a 5th player. They have some people they're looking at as their 5th, and one of them is your mom.
So is this a troll message or what? Am I being trolled? Is it partial troll? Is it full troll?
The first time I read it, I assumed it was partial
My
troll.
mum doesn't know Valorant, Josh. She's not going to do well on Cloud9 White. Okay, I don't want the hook name tarnished.
The hook name. So for it to be tarnished, it had to be sparkling clear to begin with.
We have done work in Rendezvous, the amateur league.
You've told me for years that you come from a long line of hairdressers, not a long line of Valorant players.
Well, Valorant's only been out for a couple of years.
Well, that's a good point. It would be difficult. I would assume that this is full troll, now having read it again. but
that might be a good guess.
So Jazzy's unlikely to be joining the military.
I don't fucking
having
know.
thought about that for more than 2 seconds, it does seem unlikely.
Like what? What is happening?
Oh my god. Yeah.
I mean, it could
Probably
happen.
unlikely.
It could happen. We don't know.
Yeah,
It could be.
yeah. Fair enough. I mean,
Journalists.
so that's your response to this. Just there's no way of knowing. The information is unattainable, and I refuse to speculate. Who knows? All options are weighted exactly the same to me, and I have no input.
I echo what Wyatt was saying, where it'd be a shame to let it,
Fuck off, we're moving on.
Yeah, shame to let the storyline finish.
That's
here.
like, I mean, what can you
Cloud9
say?
White.
There's just, you can't say.
Yeah, what do you want me to
What do
say?
you want him to say, Josh? There's nothing to
But
say.
also,
I said the thing. I said the only thing you can say. I gave the take. There's one
Yes.
take, and I gave it, and that's it.
Exactly.
Everything
Okay,
else is
so
speculation on trollery. We're speculating on trollery, John.
Okay, moving away from the speculation on trollery, hasn't there been a large conversation in Game Changers about it being bad for the scene that Cloud9 had all the top talent condensed into one team? Is there not an also alternative take that this could be a good thing?
But that's not true anymore.
I mean, I don't.
I mean,
Well, when you
that's
talk
not,
about the international level, sure, but they only have one international tournament a year,
Yeah.
so I think it's still valid in NA.
I don't think it's going to be valid. No, it's not going to be valid in NA this year because I think they even have to do a little NA redemption and beat Shopify, and also there's the new is it Immortal signing everyone? I can't remember who's signing a bunch of people.
It's
that sound
version,
like fluorescent.
version 1.
Oh yeah, it's version 1 and version X. That
Fluorescent,
sound like Sarah,
Tupperware, and
Floor.
Noia. Or
Yeah.
yeah, Sarah, not Tupperware.
Yeah, so
But also, to add more misinformation, rumor is that Mel and I forgot who, one of the players on Cloud9 is going to that team with version X, like
Oh,
with
really?
Floor and all that. So that's the
Interesting.
latest rumor.
I think this I also heard a rumor.
Wait, what rumor did you hear?
I was just gonna make up something.
I mean, this is a normal part though of the in the off season.
Oh,
for
Alexi, obviously.
most stuff. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, but this one isn't a troll. This one's real.
Josh.
Alexis is
damn it.
retiring to become a full-time stunt double for.
You want to pronounce
Do you
that?
want to say that name out loud? I mean,
Charlie D'Amelio.
wow, great. Yeah, good job.
Is that nearly there?
I wouldn't have got it.
That just stopped you in your tracks.
Bren, who is that?
I don't know. not a fucking clue.
One of those TikTok
Who is
TikTokers.
That's fucking Charlie D'Amelio.
Just a TikTok dancer?
Just a TikTok dancer. You're just an esports broadcaster. You fucking you are the shit on her shoe.
There's no ego here. Yeah, I may have made Valorant what it is today, but there's no ego here.
There's no ego.
There's
here.
no ego.
149 million people
That's
around the
fucking-
world
yeah, okay.
follow
Almost
her
as-
every move.
Almost as many as Bren.
That's light work. Listen, keep an eye on these profiles. I'll be there by the end of the year.
You've streamed every single day of the year, and that's still not even the hours watched combined in followers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, she's just a TikTok dancer.
All right, I get it. Fucking hell, get off my case.
Red Bull
Show the
Homeground.
Hurricane.
Let's talk about the main thing for this week. Red Bull Homeground happened. Some big teams were playing.
Oh, but I had a rumor. Yeah. I was just gonna say, I saw a rumor. I was just gonna say.
Go on then. Say the fucking rumor.
I saw a rumor that Bob and Katsby were gonna go to. Hold on.
He doesn't even know.
Hold on. Oh shit. Fuck. What team was it? Wait, I got it. It's somewhere in there.
Was it?
Oh, if I didn't have that last glass of scotch last night, it's in there. It's in there somewhere. I can't remember.
Look at Valorant.
I can't. Wait, is version X as well? No! Oh, X set. Oh, X set. Rep the set, baby. Rep the right. It's X set. X set. Purple. Purple's the color.
Christ.
Yeah, so that's the rumor I heard.
God.
Oh my god.
Which maybe if everything
Guys.
else is true, that does make sense. But you know.
Fuck it. You guys want to order room service at this point? Because this episode is a train wreck.
Wait, what's that? Wait.
This really is.
I think
Infamous room service episode that never did. We didn't see the light of day.
Oh,
on
you're
that.
referencing the secret episode.
Yeah, the secret episode
Yeah.
where I spilt like fucking $300 worth of room service food in an elevator and smashed plates and glasses everywhere.
We have to calm it before it gets to that level. Kurt is already off the deep end, putting smiley faces in the topic bar. Right. Whoa, deep breath.
Real quick, let's reel it back in. We went to the card shop earlier this week. We drove all the way up to North Austin, and there was a nice man greeting everybody in front of the card shop. He was very high on Percocets, playing with rocks.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to throw that in there.
That's supposed to reel us in, is
Yeah.
it? Back to the Valorant, says Kurt.
Buzz fucking losing it, man.
All right.
Guys, I just played 3 hours of ranked, and I have to deal with the kids in NA who just send it every round, and now I have to deal with you. What am I supposed to do?
Okay. All right. I want us all to take one deep breath
Yep.
and then out again.
I did get it. I got a nice deck box.
You need to stop talking.
It's just so much.
Okay.
I'm excited about my game.
I'm going to just
watch
keep
tower.
talking. Red Bull Homeground happened this week with some top teams from EU
Well,
and NA.
Don't say some.
I mean, there weren't all the top teams, and there weren't no top teams. So I think some actually is the right.
That's applicable.
There might be word to say. There were like
A
two.
top team.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment,
Dude,
maybe,
guys,
but-
stop fucking hating. Okay.
Let me set some
All right, let's let
context.
Josh
Let me set
shoot.
some context. 100 Thieves won the tournament. They looked really good. Wyatt was saying that the clear favorites coming in as well. They looked sick. But one of our big storylines from last week as well was that Liquid were going to be really cool to watch, and they ended up having to play with 2 subs because their IGL and, arguably their best player, Nats, wasn't. They weren't able to acquire visas.
Yeah.
So it did change the dynamic of the tournament, but it was still a fun one to follow. It looked pretty cool. Let's start with 100 Thieves, though, because they blasted through this tournament. And looked like, clearly the best team by a long shot.
Watching this. You want me to start?
Please.
Okay. Yeah, watching it. I felt like 100 Thieves were one of the teams that were clearly coming into this, taking it very seriously. I'm not saying the other teams weren't taking it seriously, but it was a bit of a Mickey Mouse tournament because it was being played on the old patch as well, which needs to be said. So this is before the chamber nerfs, and I think you could tell from a lot of the compositions that the teams are playing that they've been scrimming on the new patch and practicing and theorizing compositions and stuff, and they were playing that on the chamber patch. So there's some teams that are playing Killjoy on maps where otherwise you'd see chamber being played, things like that. I'm thinking of Vitality, I think, was doing that. And so it does add a little bit of like, it's a bit of fun to watch the gameplay, but it definitely, the vibe I got from watching 100 Thieves was that they had a team that they were the ones who were, putting a lot of effort into trying to win the whole thing, especially compared to Cloud9, because, we're going to talk about this later, or we could talk about it now, about people being so confused about yay IGLing and people saying it was troll.
We'll get onto that. We'll get onto that in a bit. I want to give 100 Thieves just a moment before we talk the Cloud9 stuff, because I think we're going to talk Cloud9 for quite a while. Yeah.
I feel like it looked like they were. I feel like it looked like they might have been the team trying, because they were just literally better than everyone by their default mode of existence is just better than everyone else in this tournament. Like there was just no other team that compared to them in regards to the basic elements of teamwork in the game, like the trust that the players had in each other, their ability to swing for each other, to play off of each other in all scenarios was so much better than every other team. But that's just like their default mode, because they've been existing and improving with this roster, and then they just plugged in a god duelist, and their fucking roster. The roster is just stacked from top to bottom. Every player on their team can be the star player of any map that they play, but they all have the ability to do so, and they all did at various points in the tournament. Well, like, even in the final against Cloud9, it was like Bang went crazy on the first map, Austin went crazy on the last map. Like they're just across the board. The depth on the team is just crazy compared to all the competition here.
The statement you made there, though, about any of their players being able to take over a game, I think previously the exception to that would have been, and it applies to most teams as well, would have been their IGL, but Stella had a really good tournament too.
Yeah, Stella popped off. Bang popped off, had really good tournament overall.
This round is insane. I mean, this game entirely, Stellar was one of the most impressive and surprising players out of everything, because like you said, Josh, she was the guy who everybody was like, no, definitely can't do what the rest of the team can, but every single game he had some sort of major impact, whether it be like a spam clutch like this, Viper's Pit Ace. There was so many good utility combos as well that they added to the game as well. I would not, argue against the fact that this team was trying as hard as they can, but they've leveled up significantly, not only because Mike's, you could clearly see contributions, not that we couldn't before, but you could clearly see now, but also Cryo. I feel like just being on the team has unlocked Asuna, has unlocked Bang to be better players than they were before, because Asuna wasn't like this at Champions. He wasn't like this at all throughout the entire year. He was inconsistent, and he was very consistent this event. And I think it's because Cryo can actually do what needs to be done for the overall picture.
Is this the case that going into Sao Paulo, you expect to see the same kind of thing where teams that have stuck together or only made marginal improvements are just going to blow away the rest of the competition by virtue of, just having that synergy and having that ability?
I love Mike, the lighting.
He is slowly turning into Ryan Reynolds from Blade Runner 2049. He is like, he had his profile picture set up for the longest time. The stoic male that... Dude, I for some reason I keep getting it on my TikTok For You page of just people who like are romanticizing the sad male life, or like the kind of stoic, I must condense my feelings into a ball and I must be stoic, and it's all over the place, and people keep making fan cam edits of Ryan Reynolds in Drive and Blade Runner and Patrick Bateman in American Psycho, and it's unironic and I don't know where it's coming from, but listen, Mike, come to the light. Don't fucking go into that direction. Listen, there's still chance for you. But what were we talking about prior? Because there was a point I wanted to get onto, but I really wanted to get that off my chest real quick.
Our teams were sticking together.
Yes.
No, you've got it. Yes. I think that will be the case, because
the audience has forgotten what the question was.
No. The question was, will teams that have been like sticking together, like having a core prior to the reforming of the rosters, have a massive edge in Sao Paulo event? And I think that's just a natural case, and that's going to be the case. But a large reason for that as well is that like the kind of off-season timing. I know a lot of teams aren't even practicing yet, by the way.
Yeah, some
because
of them haven't even begun.
Either they're still working out their rosters late, or they're still trying to get players into the countries because of visa stuffs, and they're going to be scrimming like 3 weeks before the event, 4 weeks before the event. They're not going to have as much time together compared to some of these core rosters that have been together. And like you said, Wyatt, plug and play. You can just put Cryo into this roster over Will, and you've still got the the layers that they've been developing over the past year. They've still got that experience as well, but now with the additional firepower. So teams like 100 Thieves, I'm expecting them to do very, very well at Sao Paulo, but also it's a 30-team event, so I feel like that just adds in the element of chaos. Like
it depends what the format is, doesn't it? Yeah.
I really feel like it's a team. It's like heavily a team by team basis, because 100 Thieves were trending upward and then made a move that just fucking skyrocketed them upwards.
Yeah.
Well, I think some of the other teams that are sticking together, like, I don't think it's going to help Zeta Division that they've stuck together with the same 5. You know,
I'll say it right now.
I think it's just on a team by team basis. For some of the teams that have been stuck, like, it's not going to help Team Secret that they have the same 5 or football.
Well, what about a team that was in a very similar position like DRX?
DRX,
because they haven't made an upgrade though.
Yeah, I think DRX are one that I'm fine with because they haven't. I don't think they necessarily needed to make an upgrade. You could argue they were trending up because their last performance was the best one, but also they were in
You're extrapolating from one data point.
Yeah, but so if you don't do that though, you're still assuming they're going to be like top 5, top 6.
Yeah.
And if other teams fall down because they're new, then they'll probably maybe end up exactly where they did at Champions, like top around.
Here's what's going to happen. But we're going to go into Sao Paulo, and there's going to be the teams that existed. They're going to be, I think, finishing top half of the teams that are there. There's going to be a few teams that have rebuilt, and they're new to there's a new roster that's being built, and they're going to surprise everybody and be a heavy hitter. I think there's going to be like 2 to 3 teams that are going to be like that, and there's going to be the rest of the teams where they've experimented or taken a lot of risks, or the talent isn't quite there, and they're going to fall at the bottom of the pack as expected.
Why would we even bother watching?
Don't watch it. I already know what's going to happen, but I'm genuinely expecting, because of the trajectory of 100 Thieves, just because that was still the topic here. This team was on such a good just trajectory in terms of their development over the past year. And I think the firepower upgrade, they've got the experience at LAN now as well with this core roster. And I think that was the one thing that was really missing from them, was the regular LAN experience. And the more and more that they get that in events like this, winning this, I think that they are looking really, really strong coming into just all of next year, I think. Honestly, the trajectory that they should be on, I think this team should be aiming to win it all, I think, next year, along with a lot of other rosters at the very tippity top.
I'm going to ask you the titular question, Bala. Do you think they are the best team in the Americas? Obviously, this wasn't an Americas tournament, but do you think they're going to be at the top of that pile?
Yeah, I think the level that they showed with Cryo being added convinces me that they're currently the best team in the Americas. Just maybe that's just recently. We've only literally watched like 100 Thieves and Cloud9 pretty much, but I don't see any of these teams coming out of the gate like Sentinels, who haven't scrimmed, they don't even have their players together yet. Like Cloud9, obviously they're going to be working on roles and IGLs or whatever in the next little bits. NRG, I don't think the firepower is high enough for that team to really compete. I think it should be an easy yes.
There's Loud and Leviathan.
I was going to say, yeah.
Loud and Leviathan have both made changes, but I mean, especially with the Leviathan changes, that could be, they've kept some level of a core, they've changed a few roles around and stuff, but they've also added some interesting pieces that should push their game upwards as well.
Yeah, I think Leviathan is just going to be good. I don't think that the changes that they've made and still trying to figure out exactly what they're doing with Keznut has convinced me in the offseason so far.
Right.
I think they're going to be good, but 100 Thieves has shown best possible form that they could have shown, best possible result that they could have gotten from the offseason moves, that it should be yes, but I don't think that the potential of the rest of the teams is going to stay there or is going to keep them lower than 100 Thieves. I still don't believe that. Like Cloud9, for example, is not going to skyrocket with the potential that they have, or even Sentinels or Loud as well.
Yeah. So you wanted to bring it up earlier, Brian. Let's tackle the Cloud9.
Careful here, Josh.
No, you're right. Sorry, I did forget about Jim. Let's talk about Jim. Now, if you're not aware, Jim his name is Jim Eller, and he is the father of Stephen Eller. And he posted on Reddit this thing about his experience at Red Bull Homeground in Manchester. Now, I mean, taking your dad on holiday to Manchester, what a fucking disastrous
I wouldn't
place.
wish that on my enemies, honestly.
I hope Stella actually took him somewhere nice as well, but good lord, what an urban hellscape to take your father to. I mean, I lived there for years, and it is just the
I remember when I came to
grungiest-
visit you, and I saw a homeless man pissing in a bottle.
Yeah.
Just as I was coming to visit you.
Yeah. But it's anyway, fucking, I'm reliving trauma from
It was a nice
Manchester.
wholesome. Wholesome message.
Wholesome post.
Wholesome
yeah.
message.
It was a
Wholesome
really nice
message.
post. Basically, he was just talking about how much he enjoyed the trip and talking about how intimate the arena was, just a 600-seat small arena. And he was talking about how much the players and the fans really enjoyed going up and talking to people and signing stuff and this kind of thing. So yeah, he was just saying go to LAN events. It's very enjoyable, even if you are a dad.
I like that he signed it off with Jim.
Oh no, that's yes.
Oh fuck yeah! I'm a Jim fan.
Thanks for taking the time, Jim.
Jim, I love that. That is very nice.
It's super wholesome, very cute. You can go and find it and read it on your own time. I'm not going to read it all out, but it was lovely.
I think you should, honestly.
You want me to read it out in like a Jim dad voice?
Don't do that. No.
Let's talk Cloud9 though. You wanted to get onto this topic earlier, Brent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give the floor to you here. But Cloud9 went through the tournament, and I think where people were expecting a super team, they ended up being really odd to watch. A lot of misplays, a lot of odd compositions. There was some kind of storyline around Ye IGLing.
Yeah, with the finals. I don't know if that was just for the finals or what, but people, but also the community narrative, people were saying that, actually he wasn't. It was just a great ruse that he was playing, where he said he was IGLing and also decided to sit in the middle seats of the LAN and also was talking all the time in the rounds and also was making a ton of mistakes and dying first a lot and putting himself in risks that he normally doesn't do. But it was just an elaborate troll. It wasn't. I think when with this tweet, he's saying IGL stuff was troll, boys. He's saying the concept of it was. They were trying it.
No, I sent him a message and he wasn't IGLing.
No, you didn't.
I did.
No, you didn't.
I messaged him this morning.
I
literally, I'm going to show you the DM.
Josh
I
has
messaged Jay because I was confused about it.
And he wasn't IGLing?
And he said...
He sent you a lot of messages.
He said,
I didn't know y'all were tight like that.
IGL.
I'm so fucking confused then, because this
my God, dude.
so unconventional.
He's pouring his heart out to
Yeah.
you. I didn't know you were friends with Ye.
I didn't know you were tight like that.
Listen, I mean, he watches me play Minecraft.
So I'm very confused then, because it all was adding together when I was looking at it, like he was and that kind of impact. Don't show that ever again. Ever again.
So we've just upset Brent's entire paradigm.
This entire narrative, but this is just making me more confused then, because it felt like Ye had a bit of a poor tournament then by that measure, because I'm watching, he's getting caught out of position a ton. He's honestly pushing up and taking contact a lot of the time when he otherwise wouldn't with his usual play style. I'm like thinking of instances like on Bind where he's like just holding inside a smoke, when normally like he's playing chamber, you'd be holding from showers or short, which is typically how he plays. But he was like taking contact a lot, which typically you see in a lot of IGLs, because they want to take point, get all the information, make the calls, and if they die, they can call for the rest of their team. That's why I thought it was adding credit towards it, because he was playing unconventionally, not how he usually did.
What you've discovered is confirmation bias.
I hate it. Yeah, I hate it. I'm wrong then. I'm wrong. You've done the investigative journalism work. I could have sent him a message, but I decided to just make my own shit up. I decided to make shit up on the internet.
Yeah, I think a lot of the issue, if you're looking at just Ye's performance specifically, I think that a lot of times there was just really poor setup for him. I mean, there were moments like, obviously they improved as the tournament went on, but like, holy shit, it started just terribly against Focus. That game was just two chefs throwing spaghetti at each other. It was madness, that game. But there were a lot of moments where like there were like someone was supposed to put a piece of util for him and they either sent it too early, sent it too late. There were a lot of situations I was seeing where like other people on Cloud9 would be taking a fight, but Ye wasn't really in position to help, and that's kind of like, okay, well maybe that's just like new team things.
Yeah.
But there were moments where other players were swinging and fight. I mean, this was just around early on where like the timing on the push from short was super off, and it was because Vanity was mollying back triple, which had already just gotten mollied from a lineup from Leaf. It was just like, I mean, this game was far worse than all the other games, clearly, but still the general problems I feel like persisted throughout, which was you could definitely chalk a lot of it up to new team things, but I felt like at times maybe there were moments where it was like, all right, Ye's not hitting the same shots that he would have. you know, or like we feel like he should be hitting. Like there are moments against 100 Thieves where someone's like walk pushing an angle that he's watching and he whiffs, and then Cryo kills him. It's like, okay, well, typically you would think Ye would get that 100 out of 100 times. But I feel like there were so many moments as well where the team just is not gelling yet, and it was like Ye wasn't taking fights when he could have been, or they weren't setting him up properly. Like on Pearl when they were playing, they had some of the I mean, at least when they were doing the Yoru stuff, like there were moments where Zelsis was supposed to stun for him, and he just did it like 5 seconds early, and then Ye still went and died. Like, it was just.
But those kind of things are the will fix over time kind of issues, right?
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah.
Bala, how much of this do you think can be attributed to just it being a new team? Don't worry about it. Like, don't panic, C9 fans. It's still a super team. They're gonna figure this shit out. How much do you go towards that direction?
I would kind of disagree about the fact that like it's stuff that's fixed. Like obviously it is fixable. Like you're gonna work on that, but I think it is a little panicky because I think there's cracks showing in the sense that two players aren't working well together or whatever. And I also think that Cloud9 and Vanity's calling in the past has led to a lot of those moments like that bind round that you show where things are chaotic because it's not as practiced. It's trying to be a little bit more fluid. And that's coming from Optic for Ye, so he's going to obviously be super uncomfortable in a system like that. I would say there is some reason to panic, but not super panic. You still have Ye. I mean, he still played in some games really, really well. You saw a number of rounds where he's just vintage Ye, and you also have Leaf being insane. There was a lot of bad stuff as well, and strategic decisions that just don't make any sense. But at the end of the day, they still have insane skill, and I think this tournament showed this. I don't think that they were underwhelming for a first performance at all, but there are cracks.
Right.
I think you can fix that over time, like you're saying, Josh. Like it's kind of normal to expect that, where it's a little bit shaky with the coordination. It gets fixed up over time. But one of the things that this tournament kind of highlighted for me, I think that I'm worried about for Cloud9 in the future is the roles and how they're going to make that work. Because the traditional Sentinel role now is kind of changing away, where a lot of teams could put your cracked duelist player on that role, and it would fulfill that gap. But looking at this roster, you've got like, Leaf sometimes playing Viper for them, which I know he likes to do. He said in the past that he wants to do that, where he plays like some unusual roles, where he's playing like Viper on Bind and sometimes playing the initiators for them. But this team, I think, is going to have to work out a system where, like, how do you get the most out of a player like Ye and put him on duelist? Like, who will be playing then Sentinels for them? Who's going to be playing smokes? Who's going to be, actually settling these roles? Because I think it showcased a little bit as well with like the Icebox comp, where they kind of like, they're pushing the boat out a little bit, where they've got, I think they were running Viper Brim. I think
they were running Viper Brim on Icebox.
Yeah,
and they had Leaf pushing like aggressively
his wall
on defense.
Yeah.
It looked really odd, and that when I was watching that, I immediately thought, this is the stuff that I was hoping I wouldn't see from them at all. And the problem with me there is that I just don't think that will last long at all, because they have a coach that has drilled into his former teams to not make decisions like this. So if it continues, I'm going to be baffled, honestly, like baffled, because that is just not how MC's teams have ever worked before. I say ever as if he's, played for years or something in Valorant, but I mean, he's coached the guard to a really solid level, and they were fundamentally a good team. So I'd be surprised if he wasn't able to fix a lot of these.
The slight difference is that the guard was a team of very malleable players. This is now a team of stars. That is a complete new personality shift that he'll have to deal with, but they're also all friends. I mean, he's coached these guys before in CS, so it's not all of them, but
but that also
portion.
Sometimes that presents its own difficulties, right? If you don't have that
exactly
super strict hierarchical system where your word is law. I don't exactly know how it works within the C9 system. Maybe it's a bit different to the guard.
The other thing too is their map pool is just not ready. I mean, there were so many maps where you could clearly see that the only thing that they practiced was post chamber stuff. any of the maps where Leaf was playing Killjoy, for example, like Ascent, or any of those things, those were just really poor maps. Whereas the rest of them, where Ye could play Chamber and Leaf was playing Raze, like Haven, those looked phenomenal. And you could see night and day differences, even all the way back to the groups. Like, they were shit on the Ascent maps, and then they were fucking dominant against Vitality on Haven, for example. Like, that happened multiple times.
When I spoke to Ye, though, he did say that the goal for the tournament was to experiment with a lot of different stuff, as well as getting match experience. You know, they weren't in it to dominate the competition. They were definitely there to work on stuff, right?
Yeah.
Which, that's going to be a different approach heading into Sao Paulo. They're not still going to be running... presumably, they're not just going to be running like comps that they've barely scrimmed on and putting Ye on Yoru and stuff like that. Presumably, they're going to have a better game plan when their goal is to win rather than to try out new stuff for presumably the upcoming patch.
Yeah, it feels kind of like critique driven so far, but I think that's just because the expectation for the team is so high. But also, I think they performed adequately.
I mean, they made second place.
They made the finals. No, like it was an adequate performance. Like if it were worse than this, then but it wasn't. I mean, at the end of the day, it started. They had the really bad game against Focus to start it off, and then after that, I mean, they crushed Vitality, they crushed KRÜ, and then into the bracket. They make it all the way against 100 Thieves, and against 100 Thieves, I mean, you could just. There can't be a match in this tournament that can
relatively close.
Yeah, relatively, but it's still, you could just so much. It was so evident the difference in just a team that has been around versus a team that hasn't. But it was still a good performance overall. I mean, and I think beating the teams that they beat on the way there, like they're still clearly in the upper echelon of the franchise teams. And most of this stuff, watching it, I feel super willing to chalk it up to it as the first tournament, and they're just working shit out. And then, like you said, Josh, would be baffled if a lot of if the stuff continues.
Yeah, I would be really surprised. Oh, one of the other things, one of the knock-on effects of everyone believing that Ye was IGLing was that people were like, "Oh, Vanity's numbers didn't improve at all. He's just shit." So I wanted to shoot Vanity some bail, actually, because the guy's out here IGLing, and despite the fact that he had 0% headshot throughout this game. That doesn't matter. He IGL'd his team to a 13-3 win. That's fine. And it doesn't matter that he has the lowest headshot percentage out of everybody in the tournament.
Headshot percentage is the biggest red herring stat in Valorant. Don't even fucking get me started on this shit.
Why is Josh,
people obsess with headshot percentage all the time? Did you know this was going to set me off?
Josh, you're better than this.
Did you know this was going to set me off? I fucking hate it. There's no better way to tell that somebody doesn't know what they're talking about when they talk about headshot percentage. I fucking hate it. Hate it so much, man. Did you know this was going to set me off?
Of course.
I know, Josh is a little troll.
It's my biggest pet peeve in Valorant is when I'm like listening to a broadcast or something and somebody starts talking about headshot and I'm like, stop.
But I mean, Kurt, could you bring up the stats and rank it by headshot percentage? Because it is actually interesting. Yeah, I mean, look at it. Cloud9 aren't shooting the heads.
Fuck me.
That's the big
Get
problem.
me out. Get me out of here.
That's a good point, though.
I mean, look at, they're not going to win if they just keep hitting body shots.
Who's the top? I mean, I'm assuming it's 100 Thieves at the top of headshot percentage.
Yeah, I mean,
it must be.
Look.
Why do people obsessed with a headshot percentage so much, man?
Bang and
Why
Derek
do they
in
do
top
it?
10.
Yeah. Bang.
Yeah.
Notice Focus beat Cloud9
exactly.
and they're at the top.
Sure. I mean,
curious.
That's one of the big reasons that they won. I watched the game; they hit more heads.
It's like the Valorant community are moths, and headshot percentage is the flame, and it's the flame that attracts all of them, and they're just like, let me fly towards the headshot percentage and look at it. People get blinded by this fucking stat as like this be end all of like who's.
All right. I want to talk about the rest of home ground, but now that you've gone on your little rant, I actually do want to go on a tangent here a little bit.
Yeah.
VLR
Haven't had enough of those on this episode.
VLR released a new rating
Let's go
system
off the rails again.
that doesn't include headshot percentage, Brent. It doesn't include headshot percentage. Now, I saw this and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, I've seen these before. They never really work that well. But I do want to give a shout out to the guy that made this rating system for VLR because it incorporates a bunch of different stuff in there. For example, it weighs the kills less if you're on an anti-eco round and you're like mowing down people that only have classics. And it weighs the kills less if you're in like a 5v1. It weighs the kills more if you're in even situations where it has more impact. So it's not a machine learning system like some people have tried to implement where it tries to calculate the actual impact, but it has a lot of weightings that are more interesting than other rating systems. And it doesn't really map onto just KPR or ADR or anything like that. So if you are a fucking nerd, go and read that article and have a look at it. But it looks like this is actually a pretty interesting rating system. So shout out to Farago the Great, I believe, was the guy that made this. Yep, there you go. Yep. Farago the Great. Props to you. I'm going to be taking a look at it. Who was the top rated player by just out of interest from the tournament? Did it correlate to headshot percentage?
Oh my god!
It might have done. It was Cryo Cells.
I mean, that makes sense.
How does this affect Ye's legacy? Let's move on. We'll talk about the European teams at this point. EMEA got shafted a little bit because Liquid weren't able to send Nats and Redgar.
Yeah, they didn't send their best.
What was your... I mean, literally the answer to the topic is no.
Yeah.
but in a wider sense.
Yeah.
In a wider sense, do you feel like the Americas region has showcased it has stronger teams, or is there just a lot of depth that we didn't get to see in Red Bull home ground?
A lot of depth. Also, you need to add a grain of salt just when you're looking at a tournament in general, because I think 100 Thieves came into this with a very serious outlook to win it and get that experience again.
And EMEA,
whereas
just
EMEA,
whimsy.
well, not whimsy, but like they were clearly going into the same mentality as Cloud9, where they're testing a lot of stuff. And also, even the EMEA teams were playing with subs. I think Focus had one sub, right? That they were playing with.
That made all the difference.
Well,
for Focus.
No, but you know what I mean. I think it's
Were footballists playing with subs?
I don't know.
No.
Yeah.
Footballists had all their team.
Oh, right. They're keeping this team.
Yeah.
But
okay.
We didn't have... What were your expectations for footballists? Did you have high expectations?
No.
Okay. Well, then we'll leave it then. We'll leave it. Yeah. But one team that I do have... Like, I remember I was molding during our power rankings episode, and I know Bala as well, you'd be fucking punching for vitality, because this team actually does have a lot of promise as well. And I think they were... It was clear, learning from them where you look at the compositions and they are just... still probably testing stuff and getting used to it. But I think them finishing top of the pack of the EMEA teams that ended up going to it, which they did, right? They ended up
they were above all the other EMEA
ones.
teams.
I think it bodes well for them because I think that team is sneaky good. Listen, don't be blindsided by the Cloud Performance Index that Mimi cooked up. That team, I'm telling you, that they can do some damage, and I think it does look pretty good for them in the near future, at least off the back of this.
No, they're a good team. They're a skilled team. They're an honest team.
Honest.
And they're going to be... and I think they're destined to be like the certified gatekeeper team. I think they're going to be rock solid at like 10th. And they're just going to be the gatekeeper.
Do you mean 10th out of 30?
Out of 30.
10th in
right, yeah.
Global,
yes, 10th in global. They're going to be... They are going to be...
Keeping the tier 2 team.
No, they're going to be the gatekeeper of like the top 10 global. Yeah. They have a good roster with good players across the board. Twiston is is an excellent offer.
Fantastic.
The rifling on the team is great across the board. They're just in all the fundamental aspects of the game. They are just solid, but they are not remarkable enough, I think, to push super high in the global top 30. But they can be. I think they will just end up being a solid gatekeeper team of the super top tier because they are fundamentally sound enough and individually competent enough to beat all of the all of the teams that are kind of like fluky or hot and cold or relying too much on individual play, like fucking heretics.
Yeah.
Like I think they can smite all of those teams. Twiston will simply hold the angle and click mouse one. Twiston has excellent crosshair placement. He's so good at getting the
expected
kill. Like the expected average difficulty shot kill. He is good for every time. He's like, he's not like a demon, but he's just like a god. He's like Zeus, just
he's
smiting
not a
at his
demon,
will.
he's a god.
Just smiting at his will. He
How
simply
does the
clicks
Wyatt universe mythology work if the gods are below the demons?
Just ruled by hell.
Well, demons. Well, I don't know. When people say demon, that makes me think of like Asuna getting a 4K, going fucking nuts with his mouse everywhere.
This guy's like
He's
tapping into unholy magic to do what he's doing, you know?
Twiston is just effortlessly crosshair in the perfect spot.
He's like a paladin then,
He's
not
honest,
a god.
yeah.
He's just a lawful good. I will take my kill. Thank you very much. Like,
sort of, but he has.
he's
just,
not fucking
he is
Zeus. He's not turning into a swan and fucking people. I mean, Zeus is chaotic.
He has a powerful aura. Is what I'm getting at. He is a powerful, unmovable rock in the server. Is what I'm getting at.
Okay,
but
he's a titan.
That being said, they're going to be in like 10th in the gatekeeper team because I don't think
They have the king of gods on top of Mount Olympus. They're 10th.
But you understand what I'm getting at. Though?
I can feel you. I feel you on it. I still think this team has like that upward potential.
Yeah,
because you wouldn't have said the same thing about teams like.
Do they though?
Yeah, you wouldn't have said the same thing about teams like FPX
They're
when they went
really
on their
good,
run at Copenhagen. You wouldn't have said the same.
What the fuck are you talking about? You wouldn't have said the same.
Oh, sorry.
What do you mean?
Not before.
FPX
not when they went on their run, but like ahead of time. You're looking at like the sum of all their parts. You know, you wouldn't individually. You're looking at the players.
Dude, FPX were all cracked at various times.
For this year, yeah.
No,
Before stage one, we were not rating FPX.
Well, before stage one, we were making jokes about FPX.
Yes, because they were trolling for so long.
Right, but what I'm saying
player
is
quality was better than Vitality on a paper basis.
Yeah, Vitality's player quality is like across the board. You got like 7s and 8s out of 10. Like they are all good.
Yeah,
but they don't. But with like Twiston probably being the best among them, but. There's no, but there's
no. Up on the mic, just Kurt saying "among them" in the background.
But they think he's just. But like the quality doesn't push to like the Na'Vi quality level or the 100 Thieves quality level or the Loud. Like those, like they are really good across the board.
Yeah. But no, I think your take of them being the potential gatekeepers is correct. It's the most likely. But I also, if there's a world where they end up just punching above that and it all just starts clicking for them in a tournament, then I'd be like, yeah, good for you guys. You know, I'm like, I think, yeah. A round of applause. Round of applause for Vitality.
You've got them as the dark horse, whereas Wyatt's got them as the gatekeeper.
I think,
right?
and I think people again, it's like the Cloud Performance Index blinds
the
us.
gatekeeper. Didn't mean to say that, but much better actually. Much better name. Okay. Moving on from Vitality though, let's leave Vitality behind here and talk. I feel like there's not much to discuss about Liquid, really. We just got robbed of an opportunity to see one of the most interesting teams of the whole tournament. The teams I was looking forward to seeing most were C9 and Liquid.
Look at Paula. He's gonna find something to say about Liquid, even with his, even when that's in Redgar gone. What do you have? What?
Oh, you think, and that's Redgar gone. Dude, Team Liquid is trolling. What the fuck are they running? I don't get what they're doing at all. Dude, Safe is running Phoenix, EMP is running Jet every single game. Both, like all maps. I don't know what they're doing. It makes no sense. And I'm really concerned that the rod is still there. I'm really concerned. It's scaring the crap out of me. So look at these comps.
For context, Bala's theory was that with the exism of Screamer Nevera to Carmine Core, that the rot had been cleansed from the body of Liquid. He had this, I don't know whether it was half analytical because you'd heard the streets talking about Carmine Core running some deranged shit, but it was half cope as well. I'll say that. It was half just, I really am just hoping that Liquid start playing normal shit. But if they're running subs, Bala, you can't read into it.
You got to
too
shoot
much.
on some bail, man.
They might have just been playing this because it was fun for the tournament. They knew they were going to lose.
Sure, but they genuinely had a chance to fucking make it out, like to do something in this tournament. They were doing the same thing against who was it? KRÜ in the quarterfinals when they got to playoffs. Like they were running safe Phoenix up, glass cannon in multiple overtimes. Like, and with that said, they still performed actually really good somehow. I don't know how they make these comps work, but I'm scared that that's just the Liquid way from now on. I am very scared. And sure, maybe they're just trolling, but no, I don't think they're trolling. I think this is genuinely what I think there's specific things about it that they genuinely want to do, like Yampi Jet. I think that's genuinely they want to do that.
Yeah.
I saw a big uptick in their performance, though, and the way that they were thinking about their games, that not necessarily the compositions. The compositions have always been wacky with Liquid. But I do think you just need to shoot them some bail because you're playing with 2 subs in a tournament where you're on the old patch anyway, so everything you're practicing is a little bit off. And it's, you're in Manchester, so listen, you got to make the most of it somehow. They've sent you to Manchester of all the esports destinations to go to, Manchester. So I don't know. I would shoot them some bail because I felt like at Champs they were making good strides with the way that they were thinking about the game with what's his name, Emil, coming in as the coach. Right, I felt like there was some good. I mean, they
had one
game
plan that they stuck to basically, which was we are just going to perma-run Yampi on Chamber.
For Champs?
Yeah, for Champs.
Well, I think
that was their
if you compare,
defining philosophy.
I remember looking at their VODs like before and after, and it's like so much more before Champs, relying on these heroics a lot more, but then after Champs, maps typically that Liquid looked atrocious at, like Bind, they actually were coming into it with almost like somebody had come out, like an outside consultant had come in and told them how to play the map properly. Like I saw noticeable improvements in that direction, and that's why I was like, okay, well, it's clear that Emil is actually being very good for this team.
But mate, we're talking about such fundamental, basic stuff there. Any team that has Redgar IGLing for it should be going for much more complex stuff than, one guiding vision, one basic system. Here's an outside consultant teaching you how to play a map. To me, I'm basically discounting the data for Liquid in this tournament, and it's just waiting to see what happens at Sao Paulo. Because they've got to be playing differently with their actual IGL in the game.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I think they will.
But I mean, yeah, I'm pissed off about potentially what it's hinting at. But at the same time, Safe did play phenomenal. Yampi did play phenomenal, and it was also like a third evolution of his Jet play because he was only inting when he was playing Raze, and his Jet was very good this tournament. I mean, he's up there in the top rated players. He had phenomenal moments over and over and over. And they also almost beat 100 Thieves, like who was the winners of the tournament with 2 subs. So very impressive overall. Just what are they doing? And how did they do that with 2 subs and trash comps?
Is Enzo just going to actually fulfill his character arc and become a 6th player on one of these teams? I mean, he is the rotating sub for everybody. If you could find a better person to be a 6th player on a squad, I don't know who it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also, that's tough, though. He's just good enough to be on a team. But
I don't know. He's been inconsistent this year, I thought, with 2022 when I'm watching his performance, because sometimes on online he looks like a really good player. I thought he was, especially when he was playing for Fnatic initially, it looked like he was adding a nice secondary voice to Boaster in terms of just their calling. But then when the going got rough in the actual LAN events, it felt like they just, especially Enzo in particular, had a really poor performance at some of these LAN events. Like he crumbled.
Yeah, I mean,
did it? I mean, at times, maybe I'm just
it sticks out in our heads because of the clutches that he had, right?
The big rounds he won,
but overall his performance wasn't that good.
Also,
his overall performance was poor, but I don't think you can really call it a trend when he was like a sub in
Reykjavik,
2 of the lands, and then he's only really had 1 to play at. But anyway, sorry, that was supposed to be a throwaway comment. It's not really worth deep diving into Enzo at all. I don't want to talk about Footballist either. I just want them to change their roster. So I think it only bears talking about Heretics.
Wait, Josh, hold on.
Yeah?
You need to watch the Bind games. They had a really good comp against Team Liquid.
Who,
You
Footballist?
know what it was? Yes.
Yeah. What were they running?
Brimstone. Viper,
Yep.
Omen.
Dude, that is just Fnatic. Fnatic running 4 smokes on bind kind of vibes. Yeah, that's a cool comp. I like that.
Did they win?
Let's have a
They
look.
did beat one
Almost.
team.
Nearly. Well, I do want to
Almost
talk
beat
about
Heretics.
Heretics though, because Heretics are the another team where I was blinded for a moment by them doing all right against Paper Rex, and now I've come back to my original thought process of this team is destined to be so mediocre, I think, and it's another team where I just can't get the interest in how they're ever going to improve. It just seems like the same tired ideas that we've seen before. What's your thought processes on watching this tournament versus the India tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I feel the same way with these. I was somewhat excited after watching the India tournament, but now I'm questioning if that's just because they were playing against some teams, Paper Rex aside, that were not necessarily as skilled, and their players found it more easy to go off individually because holy shit, did they just play, guys, let's walk at them. I mean, just in this in this game against Vitality, on this map as well, it was just Kellogg's is playing Randa, he's just walking down C long. Zeke is playing Phoenix. Him and one other player, they're just pushing down short. Their response to things constantly is to just walk, push at them. Like, we throw a piece of utility, they break it. We walk, push at them, and take the duels and hope we kill them. It's like, it's, and then in these games in particular against Vitality, their aggro duelists were getting outgunned so fucking hard. Avova should be on Reyna. Like, he was getting the most kills playing Astra. He was the one actually fragging, but the duelists were just, they're just playing so aggressive, but they're not winning the duels against Vitality, often because they're just pushing haphazardly, relying a lot on like one flash. Is just, yeah, I mean, I think they kind of, to me, are like they're the exact kind of team that won't be able to get past a team like Vitality, who have good firepower across the board and are super sound. Like, I don't think Heretics can get past teams like this. Like, with this style, their players are, they have individually good moments, but they're so fucking hot and cold that I think it'll be enough to beat the teams like we saw in the India tournament, like some of the bottom half teams, but they're going to end up like in the middle of the pack at best.
I just think historically, these players' decision making has never been a strong suit for them. They're inconsistent because they make poor decisions to set themselves up well for fights with themselves and their teammates and reading the game, and they just it's tiring watching them because I don't see an evolution in their game. They're not becoming better players, it looks like. So it's frustrating to me.
Yep. This looks like a player form team, and friendships are continuing to keep people together, which make no sense. I think the only 2 players right now who have impressed me at this tournament were Boo and Avova. Avova continues to be like a somewhat solid controller who continues to do really cool things and have decent decisions, especially for his teammates. But and Boo IGL's okay, and he had some really, really good moments. But everybody else on this team, like you're saying, has really poor decisions on so many levels, many times. And it kind of feels similar to Team Liquid in the sense that maybe they were, whatever, experimenting at this. And this was their entire roster, so they have no reason to, like, troll. But it feels like the players in some situations are making comps up based off of, like, what they want to play, which is bad for a full team like this. They should be coming up with really good, cohesive things that have ideas to them rather than, like, I mean, maybe their Sun comp is, I'm speaking harshly about that, but this one and some of their other ones too just make no sense. And it feels like the players are just doing things that they like and not thinking about it.
Are we being too harsh on them here? Should we shoot them the same bail that we do to, a team like C9? They are a new roster in some sense. I mean, the players have played together, so they should have some pre-existing bits of synergy at least, but it's not a full team that's, straight ready to go. Is there bail to shoot? Do you see a ceiling that they can get towards for Sao Paulo, or is this a team to sit towards the bottom of the expectations?
I think they're like a middle of the pack team.
Right.
Yeah, they're just going to end up in the middle of the pack, I think. And I think part of the reason that it's also more negative is just because I think they were better at that India tournament. Like, even if it was just down to their players being individually better at that event, because they were playing a similar way. It was just genuine. I think they were just getting more kills. Like, Kellogg's is doing the same shit. It's just he's 9 and 17 on Reyna against Vitality and against Paper Rex, who's actually getting kills. But even still, they were just better at that event. So then seeing this one is just kind of like, yeah, we're back to, I guess, I thought there was something there for a second. Okay, we're kind of just back to what I originally thought. It's kind of underwhelming. All right. But they just look like they're going to be in the middle.
I want to move on to talking about KRÜ, because this was our opportunity to take a look at one of the LATAM teams. We've already seen a couple of the others playing against each other. We've seen like MIBR, Leviathan playing a couple of games. The KRÜ-pium levels. I want to get a little check-in and assess where we're at. Bala, how high is the tank right now? If Connor was here, would he be losing his mind?
I think he'd be pretty happy. I think they played very well. I thought they were going to go out in groups, and potentially they might have actually done that, depending on rulings. But I think Shandy played better than I would have thought he would have played, and they did have a sub, by the way. So yeah, I think the tank is half full, especially because Nags even played pretty decent throughout this event, and he's not necessarily full like star player anymore, because he's playing a lot of, I think he's going to be full-time Sentinel for them in the future. I think especially with the fact that they were experimenting with that stuff, it could be pretty good for them. This is a big W, not big W, medium-sized W for them to get out of groups and then also win their lower bracket match here against Team Liquid and make it to the semifinals. I didn't expect that from them at all.
Yeah, that didn't seem really like it was going to be on the cards. But then Liquid had subs as well, Yeah. It's not like they were I don't know. It's not like it was a full strength team that they were playing against, but still.
I'd like to
I
know,
suppose credit in outperforming our expectations for them being one of the weakest teams here.
But I think the talent on this roster, though, as well. I mean, it's going to take a bit of time to try and get back up to the same level that we saw from KRÜ last year. But Shandy's skill is
Shandy played good, by the way. He played good.
Yeah,
undisputed. Yeah. But I worry a little bit about the something that I wonder about the language barrier. I don't know what the communication is like between these two teams, because I picked up Shandy and Exedi. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but
Exedi, I think.
Exedi. Yeah. I'm just wondering about what their communication is like in the game as well, and if that's going to impede their progress to try and actually make those strides and get up to the level of other teams and the level that they used to be at.
I'm super ignorant here. I didn't even realize there was a language barrier at play.
I'm assuming there is. I don't know for sure. I don't know what languages Shandy and Exedi speak, but I'm assuming that it's Spanish and Portuguese.
Of course. I mean that would make sense. But I mean, how is my brain is not functioning anymore? Has this team been full Spanish speaking since its inception?
Yes. Yeah.
They've never played with any Brazilian players on KRÜ, have they?
It's always been Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
Always. Okay. So this is the
and Klaus is IGLing as well. So
this is the wrench that's been thrown into it, where I'm wondering actually how far can KRÜ go, because this is it's not an impossible obstacle to get over. I've seen teams in the past make it work, but
I mean, Loud made it work right as well.
I've seen teams in the past make it work, but it's definitely difficult. And I think when they've changed up so much of their core, and so much of KRÜ's strengths came from their core being well-drilled, having cool ideas, that's like a big setback for them. And if they're also dealing with communication issues as well, which again, just to iterate, I don't know. I mean, maybe, Shandy and Exedi end up speaking good Spanish, and then it's not a problem at all. Yeah. But it is a concern for me.
To me, it wouldn't make sense to pick up a sixth. Exedi is the sixth Melzer is going to be playing for them normally. if they didn't speak Spanish, and also Portuguese, like Brazilian Portuguese and Latin American Spanish in general is like you can passably understand both languages, vice versa. Not all the time, like when they're speaking very fast and using slang, but it's pretty easy.
There's enough similarities.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. But also Melzer was getting married, so that's why he wasn't here, and that's why I said he was playing in the first place.
Congratulations. If
Yeah,
you're
well
watching,
done.
Melzer.
Melzer, congratulations.
Wyatt, what was your take on KRÜ? They definitely got further in the tournament than we were anticipating.
Yeah. I was a bit on the fence with them heading into this. I think despite Liquid not having their full roster and KRÜ not having their full roster, I think it's still impressive that they were able to beat a Liquid that still Liquid were still a formidable opponent despite the subs. So I was not too thrilled about KRÜ until this victory. But that being said, I don't... they've kind of landed in a similar Heretics zone for me, where I feel like they're going to be a middle-of-the-pack team. The Liquid victory is giving me hope that they can kind of be more, I guess, of like the upper tier of the middle, if that makes sense. I've come away from this tournament feeling like that's likely the placement for them.
Are they going to keep their streak of making every Masters event? They guarantee going to Sao Paulo, but I mean, Masters won.
I don't know how that works.
I mean, no, yeah, I suppose
I don't know how it works, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. We don't exactly. Wait, don't we? I thought they said there was like 12 teams or something. Haven't they announced?
Let's assume it's 12 teams for Masters events again. There's 3 regions, so 4 per region.
4 per region. They'd have to make top 4 in the Americas.
Top 4 in NA?
No fucking way, is there?
No,
I
probably
don't
not.
think so.
That's just, I would imagine, going to be too tough. But yeah, again, middle of the pack team.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move on. Let's talk about some tier 2 stuff. We'll abandon the tier 1 teams and talk about dappr's revenge arc. And generally G2 being fucking silly on the timeline. Just doing some daft cringe shit.
Are you talking about the truck?
I'm talking about the truck. Yeah. Should we start with the
truck?
The truck.
Let's start with the truck.
Fucking dumbass truck.
What are you doing? Okay, so G2 have decided to do this. I guess maybe most of the ideas were coming from Carlos, and they're still trying to keep their edge, even with him not involved with the company. This is like kind of edgy, or supposed to be. But for any audio listeners, it's a truck that on the side of it has different messages. And this one says, "You didn't get the memo? We never left." And they parked it outside the Riot Games studio. But you can't even really tell that it's from G2.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any G2 branding.
It might be a delivery company. You know?
Yeah.
I had a moving truck that looked a bit like that this morning. And I hope that wasn't G2 that I've just given my armchair to.
You know, it's a little bit silly. And then they just go around to different areas, I guess.
Yeah.
There's another shot of the new roster.
Got like the truck with the roster
They
on the side of the truck.
Yeah, they went to 100. Oh, they went to Cloud9's thing. Thanks for keeping our spot warm. See that one. That one, at least there is some like trying to build a rivalry. At least the message makes some level of sense.
I mean, these really didn't hit, huh? That is 240 likes. Jesus. I don't know how much was it to rent this truck, drive it all around Los Angeles.
They're actually getting they're getting more impressions from us talking about it than from their tweet.
Oh yeah, there they are at 100 Thieves. What do they say about that? That's a Call of Duty player.
They just
it's 100 Thieves.
G2 Valorant. They parked it at 100 Thieves.
At least they've got the logo.
It
on
really
this one.
doesn't hit as hard when they kicked you out of the franchising league.
Yeah,
they can't play these teams.
They're building.
Yeah, they can't play them until the end of the year.
But it doesn't. Yeah,
they're building rivalries for 2024 if they win Ascension.
Yeah, they couldn't find the Brimstone Gaming compound. Otherwise, they would have parked out there against the teams they play against.
the Cloud9 one is funny because the rumor is that Cloud9 was the team that got into partnerships because of Carlos.
Yeah, but even then,
out.
there's funnier ways to do that. You're like,
well,
you
they
could
bought
make
a truck, but Josh, I don't know what you want from me.
But even on a truck, you could make a joke about Cloud9 paying G2 for the spot or something or whatever. Like there's ways of like, we deliberately did this, and that's where the comedy comes from. But this isn't even we deliberately did it. It's just we're gonna get back there eventually. Like that's the message here, right? Is that we're going to win Ascension and we're going to be with you in a sec.
Yeah.
But that's not funny.
Enhance the driver. Who's in that truck? Who is that?
It's the Vic.
Who's driving that truck?
This is actually
the astronaut from
man searching for the 100 Thieves compound on GPS, looking for his next destination. Yeah.
Me.
So did that hit?
Funny?
No.
Is that a banger from G2? Where would you rank that on fuck Sentinels written in the sky and the truck?
I mean, dapr got like 1,000x their impressions just tweeting a thing they already did like a year ago. So I mean, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, crazy.
Yeah,
they probably didn't need to rent the truck, but
Hey, listen, social media management is difficult. It's a hard job.
I respect the idea and what they were going for. I'm simply reporting on the truck.
Yeah,
and the impressions it got.
Yeah. Right. So what you're saying is there's no opinion. You're not attaching any opinion. You're giving an objective, this occurred, and this is how many impressions, no opinion about whether or not it was a good idea. Because I swear what you've been giving me for the last 10 minutes is just opinion, that it was a shit idea.
I'm an unbiased journalist simply reporting on the news. That's all.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so they have a new Twitter account as well.
They dead? I don't get why they were dead in this video.
Why they're what, sorry? Why they're dead?
Why are they dead? Why
their old Twitter account is dead or something?
Well, I think they died because they got
partnership
kicked out of franchising at the last second.
Yeah.
So would be the reason.
That is a very good question, Bala. Why are they dead?
This is like loading every meme about people dying into one video.
But then they rise.
And then they're not dead.
Again. Isn't that the
and
point?
then who is this? Holy shit.
It's Shaz. Whoa. It's dapr. Whoa.
See, I think this is a very it's like clearly
This is good.
It's well produced, like it's a good video, but wait, so I'm lost with the narrative here.
What do you
What's
mean?
the narrative?
But they buried someone and then they're also taking the coffin in.
Oh, just wait. Here,
the beginning?
It explains it. Don't worry about it. Right?
Yeah, just
hold on.
Josh, I think you're
keep the video up. There you go.
No, that's the woman that gets carried out because she fainted, isn't it?
Oh, I thought that's who they killed in the coffin.
No, wind it back to the beginning, Kurt. Give me this again. What I'm asking is, who the fuck is in this grave?
Just G2.
But that was the body that they're bringing into the funeral.
Maybe it's Carlos.
Yeah, maybe it's Carlos. I don't know. Do we ever find out what happened to him?
Because look, here's the coffin. The coffin is supposed to go in the ground, and they've already piled the soil on top. It's not an empty hole. They'd already piled the sand on.
Here's what really is the case. Okay, you're deep diving them wanting to include the guy next to the grave name.
Yeah.
They
So make
just
it an
wanted to
empty grave.
What, how
Because
do you
the
rent an
box
empty
still
grave?
needs to go in
Can
there.
you rent an empty grave?
Rent an empty grave.
Can you? I don't know. Can you? But like, do you think they rent like gravestones that you can?
It's a hole in the ground.
You gotta dig that. That's like then you're digging a hole for no reason, man. You know.
Also, that's just
They rented a fucking church.
What a mad fucking business. You can rent a grave. For what? When you fucking come back to life?
I don't know. But like,
Sorry,
Who's renting a grave?
Sir, how long do you need this grave for? It's a
videos.
2-day
For videos. Like, but like, how the fuck do you even do that with a video? Like, where would you go about doing that?
Find a patch in the floor and dig a hole, Brent.
You get a feel? But like they're in front of the church, and they're in the video.
Dude, we have a garden at the Plat compound. Should we start a grave rental service?
How do they get this gravestone? Where do they get it from?
Okay,
That's what I'm wondering. Like, can you just rent a grave? Like, clearly they like.
I don't think
That's in front of the church, man.
I don't think that's a real gravestone. I think that has been.
Well, they just got some topsoil, put it down.
That is plastic.
I don't even know whether that's plastic. That
That's
looks like it's fucking CGI'd.
No.
What? The thing in the middle. Not the thing in the middle.
They didn't.
They put a piece of paper over it.
They just put a piece of paper over it.
Oh, that's why it looks weird. Yeah, it's just
Like,
a piece
but that's
of
what I'm
paper.
saying. Did they rent this
The whole video? The whole video is
My
CGI.
God, better effects than fucking Avatar or the Way of the Water.
Do you think Yinsu was actually there? No, they've just taken her face from a broadcast and deep faked it on a random person.
What?
That's not Yinsu.
What? What? But is the gravestone? Is it like in front of the church? Is someone dead there?
How do you think people buy gravestones?
I don't know. They just buy them now,
Right.
Off the
Yeah, like Amazon or whatever.
the company, the gravestone company.
Yes, but that is a physical object that you can just put anywhere. That you don't have to dig a hole to put the
So
gravestone
you think they
in.
bought a gravestone? Isn't that quite expensive?
It's a piece of stone.
Yeah, that's pricey, no? People sell it. That's like, I don't know. I've never died, so I don't know the price. I don't know. It seems to me like it would be quite expensive. You know, there's some like some.
I mean, you won't have to worry about that when you're.
But it's like it's a bespoke stone. I don't know. Like they've carved that shit.
Who learns about gravestones if the only people to learn about them are dead?
I don't fucking
There's
know.
just never any knowledge among living humans.
Should we
about
talk
it.
about
So did you guys like
Gravestones?
the announcement video or no?
I loved it.
that was the first time I watched
Good
it.
video.
I thought it was.
200 on Amazon, Bren, just so you know.
200
just
Amazon
in
for
the
gravestone.
market.
They
Yeah, laser
clearly
engraved.
spent
Guys,
way more on renting the
don't
church.
give me an Amazon grave. Don't buy an Amazon gravestone for my tomb. Jesus.
There's one for 1K, Wyatt. I could get you this one. This one's kind of nice. Bahama Blue.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we could do.
Well, I give the video a 9 out of 10. What do
A
you
9
guys
out of
say?
10.
That was my first time watching it.
I think,
I thought it was pretty good.
yeah, I mean, I think it was just overloaded with a bit of the meme source from
What's
like
this?
2001,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was a really
2001.
well done video.
Yeah.
What's your favorite meme of the current year, Josh?
My favorite meme of 2022
Oh, he's going to say
is
some old.
Yeah.
Actually, do me one better. Name a meme that came out this year that happened.
That's
this year.
literally what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to name any
You
meme
can't,
from
surely,
this
surely.
year.
Think of anything. Like,
Wow, that's difficult. I actually can't think of one.
I can think of
any
many.
meme from this year. Literally any meme.
Because you're you.
Okay, what about
And
guys?
you know you use your phone.
You're not allowed to use this one, Josh. But what about the classic Walter?
Oh yeah, I guess that was this year. Oh yeah, go away. Wait, we are still. Yeah,
we're
it's
still in
still
2022.
2022.
Yeah, Walter.
Breaking Bad memes
Put your
are just
dick away, Walter.
Yeah, Breaking Bad memes are just 2022.
Breaking
in
Bad
general,
memes
I
are
guess, aren't they?
2022, but you're
I
not allowed
didn't
to
really
use
think
Breaking
about
Bad
that.
memes.
There's oh wait. There's also a lot of memes from the Amazon television series The Boys, like with that blonde dude.
Homelander. Yeah, the Homelander memes. That's a
Where he's
2022
like
thing.
crying, but he's
can't
like
wait for
happy.
me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Minions.
Minions have been around for quite a while.
Where are you getting your material from? Facebook?
They've been around for quite a while.
Josh, I got a good one for you.
Yeah.
You want a hint? You want a
Yeah.
hint? Involves a board and pieces.
A board and pieces. Chess.
Massive scan. Yes.
A vibrating, cheating butt plug.
Is that really a meme, though?
It's definitely a meme.
That was just an event.
Definitely a meme. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah. I'll tell you who's taking
Everyone
like...
went to the chess tournament. It was a nice event.
You know what's taking the world by storm at the moment, though? I'll keep you up to date. Is the Zoolander memes. Zoolander from the first movie.
Okay.
Been making a big resurgence recently. You want to invest in that? I'm telling you. Making a big resurgence.
It's good to know.
So
Out of touch.
this G2 roster has just been officially announced, but we've known that it was happening for a while. I want to compare it to the roster that we talked about last week, but we didn't know the name of. We thought it would be the Bomb Squad. You were convinced, Wyatt, that they were actually going to call it.
Wait, are we already moving
the Bomb
on?
Squad. Yeah, I'm already moving on.
You don't want to talk about G2?
No, we're going to keep talking about G2 in comparison to the ex-Ghost players and stuff like that.
I should have let you cook.
These are two teams that are going to be competing for that Ascension spot, right? Like these are actually two teams and two orgs who have clearly put out, we want to win Ascension in North America.
Yeah.
Or in Americas, I suppose.
Yeah.
First of all, name rating. If we did a video rating, name rating, M80.
I'm fucking with the name. I like it a lot.
Yeah?
Yep.
Better than Bomb Squad. Better than
sweet,
Mr. Beast's Bomb Squad.
It sounds nice. Better than Mr. Beast's Bomb Squad.
It's
what does
a
it
grenade.
mean?
M80, like
it's like a grenade.
Grenade, yeah.
There's a grenade called an M80?
I think, yeah, right?
I don't know.
I mean, M80 explosive, yeah.
I'm going to get demonetized for this.
They did a little video at Nismo's restaurant. Pretty cool. But
this is cool.
That is fantastic to do a video at his restaurant as well. That is a great idea.
Pretty cool.
I
really like the name, though.
Bomb
nice.
Never mind. That was bad.
What?
They should have bombed his restaurant.
Been a bomb.
What?
You deranged. You're a sick man.
It's the Bomb Squad. If we're leaving trucks everywhere, like...
No.
Ooh.
Damn.
What?
I didn't know they would chill like that.
I didn't know they would chill like that. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Oh, there's another meme. Hold up. He's let him cook. There's another meme from this year.
That is another meme for this year. Good job, Josh. Well done. Well done.
Barlow, what do you think about the name?
M80.
Why are we still talking about the name?
It sounds like a BMW or something. I don't know. I'm not a fan. M80.
Dude, I think it sounds super nice. Short, sweet, rolls off the tongue.
M80.
It doesn't have to mean anything, and that's fine. Just sounds good.
I don't think I'm going to call them M80. I think I'm going to call them matey. Just matey, like it's a sailor.
You really are on Facebook, aren't you? You really are.
Yeah, I've been using Facebook recently. Haven't used it since, I don't know, 2016 or something, maybe even earlier. But Facebook Marketplace, surprisingly useful.
Yeah,
yeah.
That is one of the prerequisites. That is one of the prerequisites for the metamorphosis.
Yep.
So I'm just warning you now. Like you filled that checkbox. If you're going on Facebook Marketplace all the time, you're rapidly approaching balding, and you just need the gut and the sunburn.
It's been growing back
I was
nicely.
like, what are you talking about, Brent? The metamorphosis? Like, are you talking about Albert Camus? Like, what are you talking about?
The metamorphosis into every British man.
Kafka?
Whatever, I don't know.
Every British man metamorphosizes. I've been over this. I talked about it earlier.
So, which team do you think is going to be better at the moment?
M80.
Okay.
80.
Yeah, M80. I think, but this is purely. I think that these players showed good peaks in 2022, and with G2 being put together in the way that they are, okay, I got no qualms actually with a lot of these players on G2. I think dapr still showed that fire, that passion to compete even last year. But I mean, while we've got M80 up as well, I just think that they've got quality on this roster, especially with Nismo as well. That's going to be help them out. I think that this roster should do quite well in Ascension. Do you disagree?
I do, but I don't know why.
Do you think G2 are looking better off the rip? Because, I mean, if you look at
There's something in my soul telling me to go with G2.
Okay.
Even though
I think the players
the
are
M80
good.
roster is super stacked.
The players are good, but the biggest question...
You know I'm the fucking #1 Nismo fan.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that roster is so stacked, but yet I don't know why I feel
like
G2 are going to be better. I don't know why.
My big issue with G2 is Shaz, because he's been towing the line of content creator and pro player for the longest time. He clearly wanted to win a lot last year, but he's been under just unrelenting criticism because he's a top content creator in Valorant. He turns on his stream and he gets fucking 5,000 children just critiquing him at every period of time, and it takes a bit of a toll on you as well as a competitor. So I think this roster, coming into it, this is like, I'm not going to say the last hurrah for Shaz, but he didn't have a good year last year as a player individually, especially when you compare it to his previous performances and the peaks that he achieved in NA. So I think this is going to be, he's like the final piece of the puzzle for me, where if we get, a resurgence of Shaz where it feels like, the ideas are good, the team is cooking next year when it comes to just the development, because last year felt a bit, or this year I should say, when they were playing, felt a bit like, at sometimes coasting, sometimes not. Maybe towards the tail end they were showing some signs of life when they were swapping around the pieces, but he's that last piece that needs to slot in terms of
I would argue the last piece really is the fact that they're working with a much more proven coach than they've ever had before. They have EMEA on the team, who's done great work with version 1 and has worked with multiple IGLs, right? Because he's worked with at least Effie's and Xander, from what I can remember. Maybe some other people as well that were IGLing too. But he's had systems and created systems before that functioned, and he knows how to build a team that's got a goal in mind. Yeah, The version 1 teams had very clear styles. You could tell what they were going for. They had everyone was on the same page, and they were executing a game plan. That's never been the case for Sentinels for fucking ever. Even when they were right at the beginning, I guess when they won the tournament, that was about the only time, and the game plan was let tens cook. So hold up,
Brendan.
See,
let me cook.
Okay, go.
No, I'm gonna say the point.
I was gonna say but this could be a very good thing for a player like Shaz as well, because like you said, the teams previously, like Sentinels, have just been player focused, player ran almost, where their ideas, it felt like there wasn't really much, of the cohesive team environment. At times it felt like some players on the roster didn't even want to be there or compete, just from, it just felt that way, and their general attitudes. So I think this has been a good thing. Like, this is the best thing for Shaz, is like a new team environment, a fresh start. You have structure now as well with EMEA coming in, and you're also, I think the caliber of the players on the roster as well look pretty good. I've always thought that dapr, as well as the individual, he looked like he still wanted to compete. He looked like he still wanted to be fighting for that top spot.
Whippy's pretty sick as well.
But the environment that he was playing in last year or this year wasn't there to supplement that attitude.
What was Penny's form looking like at the end of the year? I can't remember it being great.
I know at some point in the year he was super nice.
Yeah, he was farming at one point, but I think that was just for one stage, and then he looked kind of meh, but I might be misremembering.
You barely got to watch version 1 because they didn't qual in stage 2. They didn't make it past round of 32.
Right.
And I don't remember specifically whether it was Penny not popping off. I don't even remember if I watched a version 1 game because they lost that early back in the open quals.
Yeah. Fellas, all right. Now I'm ready to cook.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I've come to the conclusion as to why I'm torn.
Okay.
Okay. The reason is, I think both teams have cores of teams that looked super hot, made it to playoffs, and couldn't live up to the expectation. Both version 1 and Ghost kind of did the same thing, where they were crazy in the group stage of VCT, made it to the playoffs, and whether it be because they didn't have enough experience, in the case more so of Ghost than version 1, I suppose, maybe that was the reason. And if they get to that point again with the experience, they'll be able to have a better performance in the playoffs. But with that core on that team, and with Xander, who was IGLing for version 1, who kind of did the same thing in stage 1 last year, that's given me some bad vibes from the team. The vibes are a little bit off, even though it's stacked to the fucking brim with talent. It's given me some bad vibes. But then also on G2, you have part of that version 1 core that looked really good and then didn't succeed in the playoffs, and we didn't see much of them. And Penny and Whippy both were great. And then, so you have that, but then combined with dapr was a beast all of this last year. Shaz was, I don't know what was going on in regard to how much was on his plate, how much he was trying to do. It's just not being a successful year. The people around him, I don't know what was going on. There's just so much wrong with the team. It's impossible to. It was just a tangled web of chaos. But I'm just not they're just not. I feel like neither of them are fully. Neither are fully passing the vibe check for me.
Does the vibe?
But the reason I think I was somewhat leaning towards G2 is because if they are doing well, if things are clicking, and if like the EMEA coach difference is real, they have players who aren't going to choke under the spotlight. That's kind of my working theory.
Okay.
But also, that could just be irrelevant because maybe Ghost got the experience and now they're fine with those core three, you know?
Does the vibe improve at all for
M80
with the addition potentially of Happy as the coach?
Does the vibe improve?
Does the vibe... I mean, it's a very vibes-based analysis that we're going for. It's got a lot of thought process and it ends in a vibe.
That doesn't help the vibes either. It's so weird.
That is weird, yeah.
I mean, it's
a weird vibe.
Cool, I guess. I mean, remember when he was on Inferno and he used the Desert Eagle to get a bunch of kills through the smoke?
Yeah,
classic.
I mean, he's a
Happy.
But I mean, very experienced player at a high level, understands, has been in very highly functioning, very highly successful teams before.
And
it is. In some that didn't work.
Here it is.
Oh,
Give us another one. Give us another one.
Oh my God, Happy.
Bullets.
And then boy, this is a long ace. I forgot that it took that long. Nice. Classic. You had to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, I was there.
Also, the difference in casting, if it had been Bren, he would have been shouting, "Give me another one."
Was it similar as casting this?
Yeah, it was similar, yeah.
Legendary moment. Yeah, so, I mean, Barla, give me your take on the Happy coach if it happens. Does that shift the needle at all for you?
Nope. Happy was like, what wasn't he going like BDS or something, like some low?
He played with them.
He
for a
played
while.
in Valorant a little bit, which changes. You know, I was thinking, oh, it's like JDM coming, but no, he actually did play Valorant for like 2 years and just didn't really find too much success.
I mean, he actually was a kind of sick player at some point. Like he had some nasty good moments. But there was never a good, I don't know. He never made it to the tier 1 level with any of those teams.
That information feels like before my time. So what I have to go on is CSGO, and what I know about him, like super, super impressive lurker in a lot of instances, but I never really remembered his teams being super like crazy tactically, like the old Envy or anything like that. He was IGLing for them before. Kind of felt like they came up with a couple of cool strats and that was like named after them, but only on like specific maps. And the rest of it, I remember not really doing much against some of the old Fnatic cores and whatnot. But that was a long ass time ago, so I really have no frame of reference to how he'd be as a coach or anything really. I think he's a legendary player, but it's completely unproven. So I'd imagine Gunter, who came from Ghost with the M80 guys, is going to be a little bit more impactful at the beginning, at least.
Yeah. Interesting, at least, to have such a big name that's revived from the very earliest point of Valorant and back into the scene. Potentially on a team that can. I mean, this team could win Ascension.
Yeah, they could do damage.
Both of the teams we're talking about have the potential to get to that tier as well. TSM are also building a roster that I feel like nobody's really talking about in the same way. I don't know why. They used to be clouted out the wazoo.
It's just not there anymore. The clout, the intrigue,
it's
drying up.
fizzled away.
It really has.
But also they don't have
where it went.
What, sorry?
I said, I wonder where it went.
Like, yeah, dissipated.
Probably with their crypto investments.
I was thinking their investments into 2 key players, but okay.
Yeah, so their roster, when I look at it, doesn't look as sexy to me as the G2 one or the M80 one as well. But it does have some names that people will recognize and players that have been good before in that like tier 1.5 area in America. Do you think this team is going to be on the same level? Are you excited about this team? Do they need to be talked about more? What's the vibe check, Wyatt, on TSM?
The vibe is low-key banger.
Low-key banger.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is, I'll stick with it. I'm not going to double back. I think this team can be low-key good. I think they can definitely exceed the expectation and the minimal attention that they're getting. I think Hayes has been consistently good for a long time.
Yeah.
They still have GMD, who's a fucking beast at the end of this year. He was putting up some insane games that just flew completely under the radar. I think there's still some potential to be tapped into with Seven. I think there's still some potential to be tapped into with Corey. I don't really know how Nature is going to fit into the team. But
yeah, I feel like I haven't watched Nature since he was on Immortals, and I watched a few games ago.
Because he was on Gen.G, and they were just not doing anything.
Was it Gen.G?
Because he was on that weird. He was on Immortals, but then he was on that weird Gen.G roster with Rhyme and everyone, like those guys.
Yeah.
And they just never really made it past early stages of tournaments, so we just never saw them. So I haven't.
Who's the coach of this team of TSM?
TSM? Good question.
It's different coaches, right? Oh, who was coaching prior and left?
Now
you go to transactions. Can we look? Juvenile.
Oh yeah, Juvenile.
That's it.
Yes.
Juvenile was doing good work with this team during our development process, and it felt like the August South as well was pretty driven to get results because they were like, we're boot camping, we're taking it seriously, blah 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 blah. They were taking it really seriously, and Juvenile I felt like was a big driving factor in that exactly as a head coach. But with Juvenile's absence now and Hayes coming back in, I feel like Hayes as well. I don't know the internal dynamics of a lot of teams that he's been in, but he feels like a very player-driven team kind of guy. Would you disagree with that?
I mean, I feel like he comes across as a very mature person.
Yeah.
That isn't going to feed into the chaos that's normally associated with player-driven teams.
Sure.
But you might be onto something there in terms of him just like.
It just feels like it. He's a bit of an old head.
I mean, he's
on the corner.
He's always with.
He's outside. He's
an old head.
He's outside the convenience
CS
store.
Guys.
Yeah, he's outside the convenience store. He's drinking these fucking. He's got he's mixing something up. He's like he's got something there. Hey,
but he's definitely a leadership figure that we've seen add value to teams before.
Yeah, absolutely.
When he joined NRG, it made a big difference.
Absolutely, and I think, that's what it hinges on a little bit. I think as well as the direction of this team, because there's talent there's untapped talent, but I'm not as excited for this team compared to some of the other Ascension teams that are coming up.
I think this team is going to be good in Ascension. I think they'll be one of the top teams.
Do they have a chance of winning?
Outside chance, but I think they'll be in the top tier. But I mean, it's so tough to call. It's so goddamn far away.
Yeah,
but. Outside chance.
Would the win con be getting much higher value than we've seen before out of people like Seven and Nature? Is that the win con for them actually winning? Like in the world where they win Ascension.
I thought you were going to say Corey.
Well, I mean, it could be Corey, but I feel like I've seen
good
peaks
things
out of Corey, but never in a structure where that can be consistent and he can really be a star player.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that yet out of Seven or Nature, except for flashes at very brief times.
Yeah.
But I also haven't watched all of their games in Tier 2 either, because they just haven't really been on relevant teams for a while.
Yeah.
You
go on, Ball.
mentioned I kind of feel okay about the roster, but and in the sense I agree with you about the other two rosters that we talked about, M80 and G2, like about how something kind of feels weird about how they're put together and whatnot and who's whatever. I kind of feel the same way, but also both of those rosters just on paper are way better.
Than TSM.
Yeah. TSM's rostered. I mean, I could list four or five teams who I think their rosters on paper are just better. FaZe, Guard, the teams we talked about, Shopify. Yeah. They're kind of getting massively diffed, I think, on paper compared to those teams. So I can't see how you could call them competitive in Tier 2.
Yeah.
You
don't think they're going to be gunning for Ascension?
No.
TSM are not getting a spot in the league.
Damn.
Nope.
Damn, man. Their luck's down. I feel bad for that. Listen, I'll always be rooting for the players, but I'm always down to shit on TSM.
That's good.
Wonderful. Well,
nice.
Unbiased commentary coming from this point. Yep. Yeah, there you go. I mean, there is just so much Tier 2 stuff that we could talk about.
Yeah.
We were just mentioning some notable teams with notable players as well, but not going to dive through every team that would be relevant. I am interested to watch the Guard, though. I mean, Bala just brought that up. And I think just in general, Ascension is going to fucking slap.
Yes, it is.
Once it comes around. It just looks like it's going to be so good.
Yeah.
Because the quality of these teams it is good. I mean, EMEA had an interview about it where he's talking about, like, we think we're going to be on that level. And
Yeah.
I mean, you look at some of the teams that are in the partnership system, they haven't really figured their roster out to a great
I
degree
think
yet.
it's still up in the air, honestly. If it was an open circuit as well, still, I mean, you'd be seeing scenarios, I think, where some of these ascendancy teams would be overtaking, I think.
Mate,
A lot
add
of
2 qualifier spots to Sao Paulo. So you have a 32 team
Yeah. That's what I was
single elim
thinking,
March
man.
Madness bracket.
Yeah.
That
Like,
would be bonkers.
But then how
good.
do you decide the
Single
Ascension
elim?
teams?
Huh?
Fucking hell.
How do you
Sorry?
decide
Go ahead.
Yeah, single
the
elim.
2 teams that go?
Single in BO1. No, not BO1.
That's the
not BO1,
EMEA
not
days.
BO1. But
Let's
single,
go.
like for a one-off tournament, a single elim would be very fun. I
Yeah,
think.
big
I would
bang.
fuck with that, yeah.
Yeah. No, not for every tournament. No.
No,
Don't take away our double elim.
don't.
Don't take it away.
Don't take away double limb,
But for one tournament, a one-off, it would be quite fun.
yeah.
All right, let's get to the only awards show that really matters. The Game Awards, the Esports Awards, they are nothing in the face of Wyatt's Weekly Award.
Hey, bro, pass the sticks. It's Wyatt's Weekly Award.
That's got to be one of the best made ones.
All right.
Production value.
It is
Yep.
very
A
good.
lot of production value, yep.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
There's a calm that's entered the room. I'm nervous. My voice is shaking.
There's a lot of options this week. I think there's a lot. I think...
Stop.
That's not one
Why
of
are you laughing?
I was going to say.
Why
Why are you laughing?
It's just funny.
A lot of options, but not Harry. Harry's not getting the weekly award this week. Poor Bren.
Yeah.
I'm still mulling it over. I've been thinking about it all day.
Yeah. I mean, it is awards season, and it's a very important, prestigious.
Because there's a lot of players who I think deserve it, potentially, from that tournament.
Yeah.
A number of different 100 Thieves players. Man. This is a tough one.
Should we just not have one this week?
I did. I'm still thinking about who deserves it the most.
Right.
Hold up.
Hold
him cook.
Let
him cook.
Let him cook.
Yep.
Let it stew.
I'm simmering. I'm simmering.
You know what? All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give it to you, Josh.
Me?
Josh gets it?
Yep.
Oh, Pogchamp.
I'm going to give
Why?
it to you.
Why do I deserve it?
Just for generally being a very cool person.
There you go.
And because because this is the last episode that we're going to be doing a Plat chat in real life. And
Yeah,
it's
let's hold hands
it's been a
for a second.
you
need to hold ball.
Yeah, wait,
There you go.
I'm holding your handball. It's been a very, very fun time, and it's going to be
been a
very
fun
sad
journey.
that you're going to be gone. And
Yeah.
miss you very much.
Yeah, I'm not dying.
But you are leaving. You are going to the UK.
Yeah. You're leaving the nest.
Fate worse.
Yeah.
Are you moving to Manchester?
No, I'm not
Actually,
going.
wait.
I'm not going
what's-
back to Manchester.
What's
now.
shitter, Manchester or Birmingham?
Oh, Birmingham,
Oh,
definitely.
Birmingham, yeah.
Now, Manchester's not the shittest place in the UK.
Yeah.
It's just really high on the shit list of all the places in the world to hold a tournament. Thank you. I mean, I didn't pay for that, but you know,
Thank you for
Van
the
Silly
disclaimer.
previously paid for it. Dust has paid for it.
Wait, Vance paid for it?
No.
He did. He was a
lied
sub to
about
your
it.
channel, though.
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with it. He lied about paying for it because he thought it would be funny.
I'm currently
Real
watching.
funny to ruin the sanctity of the award, Vance.
Yeah.
Real funny.
Never accuse Wyatt or FIFA of corruption.
I'm just watching the FIFA corruption documentary now, and that's exactly what it reminds me of. You're a fucking Sepp Blatter. Just what the
Dude,
fuck?
Vance.
Oh, God.
Vance,
Not the
come
cone
on,
in
bro.
there as well.
Dude.
What is that?
I mean, the cone does kind of serve as a spoon-like device.
No,
it
will
looks like
just
they've got
crumble
baked
into
bean
sogginess.
sauce as the base.
Yeah, that is fucking
God,
disgusting.
that is
Who?
No, that's gross. That's gross.
just horrific.
Nah.
Yeah, but
Someone stop this man.
Plat Chat is still going to continue. They're still going to do Plat Chat episodes. I'm just going to be doing them remotely once I get moved into the UK. So don't fret. The Plat Chat compound is not actually getting destroyed. There are no bulldozers outside the window.
When we do have the meetup events, the meetup episodes, then it's just hype.
It's on.
Then it's hype.
Except we're going to drink and order room service and never be able to post
I swear to never do that again.
Yeah.
I
Weren't
swear
you going to put that up
believe
for like tier 3 members or something?
Yeah, but I've been busy
can't see the
moving my
light of
house
day.
instead of editing it. All right.
Moving the house.
Yeah, I'm transporting the whole house. That does it for episode 116. We'll be back next week. There's a tournament happening in Japan that we can preview with some pretty good teams. Fnatic's going to be in Japan like the day before Christmas.
Do you guys want to do a top 10 players of 2022 instead of previewing a
an
tournament?
awards show? A top 10?
Yeah, we can do that. But wait,
episode?
what's the Japan thing?
We'll talk about it next week.
Show match.
It's a tournament happening in
Show
Japan, like
matches.
Oh,
show matches, but it's like 23rd and
they're doing it
24th
to
of December.
promo their merch. So they get more sales. That's what's going on.
Right.
Fucking capitalism.
What's going on?
It doesn't matter.
Well,
It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it next week. See you later. Bye.